The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good Wednesday morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. It is Wednesday, hump day. So, as George would say, hump with someone close to you, hump the one you love, but get it done day. That's what this is. So, anyway, it's just me and my brother Pedro in here today. So, good morning, Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning and happy hump day. But yeah, it's get things done Wednesday, right? You said?
That's what it is. Get things done. Hump day in the middle of the week.
Yeah. And how's your morning going?
I mean, mine is good, man. I've been up and had to deal with a couple of technical difficulties, but I got them out the way early this morning. And other than that, I just been chilling, waiting to do this.
Okay. For myself, I want to get a little bit of breakfast, some what they call French toast dips, I guess, over here, close by right here.
Okay,
Fast food and a little bit of hash brown and a juice.
okay.
Had a
So
little bit of breakfast.
the French bread sticks, and then you just like dip them in the syrup or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah, something
Uh,
small, nothing major.
well, no, I'm good. I'm not a breakfast person. When I do, normally I get a bowl of cereal or something like that. But now, when I go out, I got to get a full breakfast. I got to have bacon, eggs, all that sausage, hash brown, English muffin. uh, I need a full plate. So, but
Hmm.
not that regular. So, but anyway, yeah, it is Wednesday. Coming down to heading down into the last week of the month. So, just as a little reminder, just remember after Monday, we'll be in the fifth week, and there won't be any more groups until the 1st of May. So we'll still be doing coffee time, but other than that, uh, uh, we'll interest groups are going away. So for tonight, we got our getting the most out of your Meta Ray Ban. It's becoming one of our most popular groups. Myself, George, and Pedro, we all three have our metas. We get a lot of folks that come in, they have them, they're curious about different things we can do. George has worked it out where we can actually do live demonstrations where you can hear hear the metas talking to you as he demonstrates, whatever stuff he's come up on, or maybe something you come up with that you're trying to figure out how to do, So come out and hang out with us tonight at 6 o'clock, and see if maybe you can share something or maybe learn something, one or the other. It's, like I said, it's a pretty cool group. So I know Pedro's always got a whole lot going on with his groups or with his Meta Ray Band. So, and George is always playing with his as well. I'm probably the laziest one out of all of us. Mine sit here on my desk until I get ready to leave the house.
Yeah. Well, I like playing with that live AI. The live AI actually comes in handy. You don't have to always use a wake word. Plus, it's consistent. It's been getting better. So man, when this feature comes out to everyone, it's gonna be pretty cool, pretty good. I think it can help us in more things and to get relevant more results, but
Right,
yeah,
right, right,
come through and join us, and here all we got on the Ray-Ban meta glasses. And George comes in for one aspect, I come at it from a different aspect, Ed comes at it from a different aspect, and and then we have other members that like to give their experience, and then we have people that are looking into purchasing the glasses, and they just want to get acquainted with them and ask questions. So that if that's you,
right.
come on in.
Get a good idea of what you can do with them before you go spend that money. I mean, even though they're the most cost effective wearables out there right now, it's still, for folks in the community, it could be a nice little chunk of change, but anyway, come check us out tonight. We're going to jump into these articles. I can't remember the name of it, but I didn't know magic mushrooms was, I've always known about mushrooms and whatnot. We've seen it on TV, seen it in the movies, whatever. I never knew that it was as big a thing as I guess it is becoming. So, anyway, let's check this one out and we'll discuss it on the other side.
Today on Coffee Time, magic mushrooms and medical mayhem, the alarming rise in unsupervised psilocybin use. Magic mushrooms may sound like a flashback to the psychedelic 60s, but recent studies reveal a sharp and modern uptick in the unsupervised use of psilocybin, the compound that gives these mushrooms their hallucinogenic kick. What's even more concerning? This surge isn't limited to one age group. Adolescents and adults over 30 are increasingly experimenting with psilocybin, and it's sending poison control call centers into overdrive. A study published in the Journal of Adolescent Health analyzed national poison data and found that while psilocybin-related exposures remained fairly steady until 2018, they skyrocketed afterward. By 2022, reported cases among teens had more than tripled, and cases among young adults had more than doubled. Even more striking, another study from the University of Colorado found that psilocybin use among adults aged 30 and older jumped a staggering 188% between 2022 and 2023. What's the fallout from all this unsupervised experimentation? Poison control centers have seen a quadrupling of psilocybin-related calls among adults, a more than 300% spike among teens, and a shocking 700% increase among children under 11. Common symptoms include hallucinations, severe agitation, rapid heart rate, and confusion. Alarming still, over 70% of adolescents and young adults who called and required medical attention. Why the surge? Experts point to the growing number of cities and states, including Oakland, Seattle, Detroit, and the entire state of Oregon, that have decriminalized or legalized psilocybin in certain settings. This loosening of legal restrictions, coupled with rising public interest in potential therapeutic uses for mental health issues, has led many to self-medicate without proper oversight. Doctors warn that the risks are especially severe for children and teens, whose developing brains are particularly vulnerable to psychoactive substances. And with psilocybin now being packaged in tempting forms like chocolates and gummies, accidental ingestion is a growing danger in homes across the country. As interest in psilocybin continues to grow, this moment calls for serious conversations about harm reduction, public education, and how to ensure the safe use of substances that, while promising in some clinical settings, can be dangerous without proper supervision. What do you think about this trend? Have you or someone you know encountered similar concerns? Let's talk about it. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
So this psilocybin, I guess that's the active ingredient, piece of the mushroom that actually gets us high. It sounds like they starting to use this stuff for psychotherapy, and Like I said, once you start using stuff like that, I mean, we were talking, in the past about how Musk does that other. I forget the name of that one. I ain't trying to mess with chemicals I can't even pronounce. Uh,
Ketamine.
yeah, ketamine. Okay. But again, it sounds like that's what this is, man. I didn't realize that they even made with the edibles with that you know component in it. So I mean, maybe the edibles might be better if you regulating it. I mean, I don't know, like they do with the edibles as far as cannabis and THC. If they regulate it where they smaller dosages, but wow. I mean, again, I didn't know that this was still or a bigger thing than it was when I was growing up. I mean, mushrooms have been around forever, but again, I just didn't know it got out so far out of hand.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, yeah, that's alarming. Um, I know they loosened up the some of those chemicals for like the magic mushrooms, and people been experimenting. I've been seeing them in shops and stuff like that. I know it started because they wanted to decriminalize them for therapy reasons, and and being under a medical watch eye while dosing has helped people with anxiety and other problems. But you know, and and it's been causing another problem within our youth. Um, kids under 11 and young adults also, has spiked, and people are using and not knowing the effects, and then they need medical assistance, and you know this problem is growing. I don't know what can be done. What do you think, Ed, about
I mean,
the
in
youth
my
use?
opinion, it needs to be, definitely regulated a lot more. I mean, I'm not against it on, if it's beneficial in a clinical setting, right? A psychotherapy, helping people with their anxiety or whatever the case may be, right? Just like when we're talking about the ketamine thing, as long as it's used in the proper setting, then okay, it could help a lot of people. But when you have such as Americans do, almost with everything, when you start self medicating and I mean, think about it. It's a hallucinogenic. Hallucinogenics has been around as long as I've been around. I know, as far as I know, they was around before I was born. It was still different forms, LSD, morphine, all that stuff. When it became street level stuff, it got different names
Yeah,
per se.
it's been around centuries. The Native Americans used to do ayahuasca, and that is a hallucinant, and you ingest it by drinking it. Um,
I mean, a lot of this stuff they do, is a religious,
cen-
religious, traditional stuff. You know what I'm saying? What like you say,
ceremonial.
ceremonial, your religious ceremonies, and like you say in them. I mean, like the Indians, okay, when they do the smoke lies thing.
hmm
I mean that. I mean that's basically what they're doing. They doing stuff like this. It's mushrooms, natural. Where they have this hallucinogenic that comes from these natural components, just like THC comes from cannabis. This stuff comes from a mushroom. It's more of a natural way of doing it, but again, it's still a hallucinogenic, whether it's, in a natural form like a mushroom or whatever, or whether it's in a chemical form like a synthetic acid or, LSD. Maybe that's even what ketamine is. I don't know. It's probably more of a chemical based thing, right? So, but again, for whatever reason, we have some folks, I should say, have a desire to hallucinate. I mean, they just want to sit back, get high, and hallucinate. You know what I'm saying? And what they call release and step away from reality for a while. You know, I think that's the lure to having, for people that are self medicating, where if it's more regulated, then, it's going to help people, but you're always going to have somebody that's going to abuse it, just like everything else.
Yes, yes. At first, in my opinion, and in the way that things going, it's like at first when you decriminalize something or make it legal, you're gonna have people that are gonna excessively use it, you know. But in time, in other countries, things have steady out that you know after years and of it being legal, and it might take a decade or two, the illegal use of it, like for minors and stuff like that, goes down. You know,
Right.
right now it's like oh yeah, here you could have it. Oh yeah, free candy. Like let me go get that candy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So after a while, there's been examples in other countries that decriminalized, certain drugs and stuff like that. But yeah, the, that's kind of popular. If you talk to people and young youth about those, magic mushrooms and stuff like that, and you
Right.
know,
And that's what I'm saying. And, I mean, I'm not totally cut out of society, so I knew, that people still did mushrooms. I just didn't know that it had become as popular as it has, and again, so, in a clinical setting or experience kind of thing. Uh, uh, okay, but like I say, kids and whatnot, and and overdosing. I mean, this is why they're sounding the alarms, right? Because they're getting the calls into, they call them the poison centers because in our American society, we call any sort of a drug a poison, right?
mhm.
when you reach that overdose stage, and that's where they at,
Yeah, yeah, and they're franticing and stuff like that, they sometimes these things are real potent. But just to bring it back to a little bit back to our community, I would like to experiment to see uh if I like how would that work with someone that's completely blind.
hallucinating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an experiment to watch out for later or something. But that's something inquiring in my mind. Like how would
Well,
that?
I think it would just definitely need to be a study kind of situation because then you want to study the effect of, blind folks that, have had sight and never had sight.
Mm. So
You
I
know what I'm
found one
saying?
of those categories, and probably microdosing, I guess.
Well, again, if they breaking it down into its element level, component level, right, to a
Mm-hmm.
point to where they can put it in edibles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, like they said, gummies and chocolate, right? So that means, okay, well then we can determine, how many cc's, grams, whatever we're going to get in a piece. A gummy maybe is 5 grams, or 5 cc's or 5 milliliters, whatever the dosage is. You know what I'm saying? And do it in, like you say, microdosing. So microdosing. So, but hey, who knows? But one thing I'm gonna go here that I didn't hear in the article, and I'm grateful for this one. Maybe it's a flaw where we didn't get all the information or not, but they didn't say anything about deaths. They didn't say anything about this was killing anybody. So,
It's like a marijuana thing, Ed. It's not like
right, I get that. I get that. I
yeah.
mean, so my point being, if we can just get it under control and making sure that people are not overdosing, you know what I'm saying?
We'll get into that
And
frantic state. It's like when
right,
when someone barely does marijuana and they get to that state, they think they're having a heart attack because they're panicking and all that. That's what's kind of happening with that.
right.
Um, it's not like a fentanyl deadly overdose, I guess.
That part right there. So, but anyway, again, and then let's go back to this other part of it.
Mm,
That's synthetic versus natural.
mm,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
anyway, let's get into these promos, and then we can jump into the second half of this program we got going.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Did you know that people in third world countries do not have access to canes? The You Can Give initiative gives canes to people all over the world who cannot get canes. The You Can Give initiative not only goes to these countries and gives people canes, but they give people canes and a digital recorder that is solar powered that has instructions on how to use the cane and instructions on how to repair the cane. The You Can Give initiative is a very worthy cause, giving canes to blind people all over the world. If you have a cane that you're no longer using, or a cane that's broken or bent, you can go to youcangive.org and get a shipping label, and you can ship your cane to Jimmy in Tennessee, and he will refurbish it and give your cane to a blind person in a third world country. That website again is youcangive.org.
All right. Well, let me catch up on these comments. So Monica said good morning. God first said good morning, as well as the danger of the mushrooms is the hallucinogenics of it. And then Tisha also said good morning and hi and all that good stuff. So good morning, ladies.
Good
So
morning.
these next articles, I mean, we dealing now. We've done a couple articles on, the cost of iPhones and stuff like that with all these tariffs and stuff coming up, all that kind of crazy stuff. And so I ran up on some information on comparing value of the phone, cost of the phone, with taking into consideration the tariffs. So check this out and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Today on Coffee Time, iPhones, tariffs, and tough choices. Why where your phone is made matters. In an era of intensifying trade tensions between the United States and China, the simple choice of which smartphone to buy now comes with global implications. One of the most critical differences between two of the most popular smartphone brands, Apple's iPhone and Samsung's Galaxy, is where they're made. And in today's economic landscape, that detail could hit your wallet harder than ever. Apple's iPhone, a high-tech product with a high tariff price tag. Despite Apple's recent push to diversify production to countries like India and Brazil, nearly 90% of iPhones are still assembled in China as of April 2025. The largest Apple production hub, Foxconn's massive iPhone city in Zhengzhou, underscores this dependency. But this reliance on Chinese manufacturing comes at a cost. Recent tariff hikes have brought the total duties on Chinese imports up to a whopping 104%. Analysts predict that if these tariffs stick, the price of Apple's newest iPhone 16 Pro Max could rise as high as $1,874, an eye-watering 56% price increase. Although Apple has received temporary tariff exemptions on certain electronics, those are short-lived, and new restrictions on semiconductor components loom large on the horizon. Samsung Galaxy, the benefit of a broader base. Samsung, on the other hand, made a pivotal move in 2019 by shutting down all smartphone production in China. Today, most Galaxy phones are made in Vietnam, India, and South Korea. This diversified production means Samsung devices are subject to lower tariff rates, 46% compared to Apple's 104%, and that means fewer price hikes for American consumers. By avoiding dependency on one country, Samsung has gained a strategic advantage in maintaining both stable pricing and reliable supply chains, even as global trade relationships grow increasingly strained. What this means for you? Whether you're loyal to Apple or a fan of Samsung, understanding how international trade affects your device's price is more important than ever. As tariffs rise, so too might the cost of sticking with the familiar. In contrast, Samsung's flexibility in manufacturing might offer a more budget-friendly path for tech-savvy consumers. In the end, this isn't just about brand preference, it's about how international economics can impact everyday choices. If pricing and affordability matter to you, now might be the time to reconsider what logo sits on the back of your phone. What do you think? Will the price tag influence your next smartphone choice? Are Apple's features worth the potential tariff toll, or is Samsung's global strategy the smarter play? Let us know what you think in the comments. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, I guess I'm gonna be paying more money for my phone because, I mean, again, I don't know. Mine is kind of a weird story, I guess. I've never had any other phone but an iPhone. I mean, again, last time I had a phone, well, I'll put it this way. I didn't have a phone period, a mobile phone period until after I lost my vision. I mean, it was out there. I knew people that had them, whatever. It was just way too expensive. The phones cost a lot of money. The bill costs a lot of money. You could only make calls during certain times of the day. All kind of crazy stuff back in the beginning, right? And I just could not afford it. So by the time I lost my sight is when they got a lot more affordable. The plans got more affordable, and I didn't actually get my first phone until I went to go do my training, my independent living training. So I've always had an iPhone. Said all that to say that. That's all I've had is an iPhone. So that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm comfortable with. That's what I like about, you know, of course, we'll get into it in the next article because we're going to talk about accessibility. But for me, I've been trained on that uh, 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 technology. The iPhone voiceover stuff like that. I don't even use my phone to the maximum right now. Anybody that knows me, Pedro included, will tell you I don't use mine as well as I could. But I mean, I'm good with it. But if a Samsung works for you, if an Android platform works for you, hey man, go for it. I mean, you definitely gonna keep a couple dollars in your pocket. Maybe I can talk you into buying me dinner since you're saving so much money. Uh, but I think your opinion is probably pretty much the same as mine, right, Pedro?
Yeah, I'm used to the iPhone. Yeah, primary device works nice with my Mac. Um, Even though I think the Ray Bans have more functionality on Android. I think. Um, And I'm used to iPhone. It's all great, but the price tag jumping to 1,800. Oh man, I don't know. I got an offer, and just knowing that the price tag might jump from 1,000 to from 1,200 or 1,000 to 1,800 or a little above. Like it's either.
Well, let me go here, Pedro. For us now, let's keep it 100. You don't need the Pro Max because the Pro Max is the bigger body, the bigger screen. You know what I'm saying? You can do
Hmm.
the regular 16 Pro, which is a normal size phone, and save yourself a couple $100.
Yeah, just like $100.
You know, so I mean,
So it could go 1,000 to 1,600, I guess.
somewhere in
But
there. You know,
I just got an offer, and I don't know, should I take it? Instead of paying more $100, I could turn one in and pay a few $100 instead of paying that big or exceeded amount and get a 16 and don't worry about getting a 17. I know some cellular companies have been putting offers out there. Get a phone on us that includes like a 16, depending on what you want. You know,
right, right,
I gotta
right,
see
right.
what's the differences between the new model and oh well, I know the cameras, so I'd rather get the Pro, at least the lower tier of the Pro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, you don't need the Pro Max because it's basically just a bigger screen. The same cameras in the Pro as in the 16 Pro as it is in the 16 Pro Max. You know what I'm saying? So for
Yeah.
me as a blind individual, all that screen is just a waste of space. You know, a bigger screen that now I still have to navigate around. Where I'd prefer a smaller screen. That way, I don't, it's just more compact. You know what I'm saying? And I can maneuver it a lot faster and easier. I can do it with one finger in one hand. You know, I reach up there with my thumb and touch that top left hand corner. You
Hmm.
where with a Pro Max, you now you got to hold the phone in one hand and navigate with your finger on the other hand. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only difference between the two of those for me, and that price point. I mean, a couple $100 is a couple $100. Wherever you can save a buck, that's where you're supposed to save it at. But again, a lot of people are good with Samsung, and I ain't mad at them. You know, do what works for you. So. I mean, again, it's just price now, and it's sad that this tariff thing is really playing into it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that now we got politics controlling the price of our devices. I mean, it's not uh, quality of the device. It's not features of the device. It comes down to pricing because of these damn tariffs. You know what I'm saying? So that's the crazy part for me. But as far as quality and brand loyalty or whatever, I'm going to stay with my iPhone. Like you said, I may not be buying. Well, I've never been that person to go and buy the latest and the greatest just to have it anyway. I'm more that guy that I buy it when I can, when I need to. I don't have to have that latest one. I got a 15 now. Uh, why? Because I was told that was, like I said, I can do everything a 16 can do, just like a 16 pretty much is probably going to be able to do everything a 17 can do. So I'm not going to worry about that. I wait until my 15 or maybe somewhere I don't know 19, 20. 17's coming out now. I'd say probably no sooner than 18, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm always a few models back. So, but I'm good. I'm good. And it's cool for me because again, I don't use all the stuff that I could. I don't use my phone to the best of to its full ability.
Yeah. I just haven't upgraded because I'm like, do I need, I like to have all the bells and whistles and all that. I want to mess with the Apple Intelligence and all that. But do I need that extra, not burden, but that extra charge that I'm going to be paying, upgrading later, to comparison to upgrading now? I was going to hold off too, but man, I keep hearing about all these tariffs and how things are going to. So,
I mean, and I think that's why some of them are offering deals right now as well because a lot of this stuff is stuff they have already in stock that they can afford to do some of that with. You know what I'm saying? Versus the newer stock that's coming in with those tariffs attached to them. They're gonna have to get more money for those. You know what I'm saying? So, crazy situation that politics is putting everybody in. It really is. So, it's a crazy, crazy, crazy situation. So, anyway, we pretty much through talking about the cost. We're gonna run through these promos, then we're gonna come back and update you on the comments, and then we're gonna get into talking about the difference between the two in accessibility. So let's get these promos done, my brother. Did you know Blind United offers free training in assistive technology? We call them interest groups. We offer training in JAWS, NVDA, iPhone, iPad, as well as Meta Ray-Bans. We also have groups like support group, cooking groups, and crafting groups. There are also groups for entertainment like movie night and RS game night. For more information about all the interest groups that we offer, just email us at info@blindunited.org or visit our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Group. We would love to have you be part of the Blind United crew.
Hustling jingles, $10 a shot. Birthday beats and holiday knocks. Gotcha covered for the ones you love. Personalized joy like a custom glove. Get your jingle hot and fresh. info@blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford. Got a catchy tune for your babe. Poppin' beats like dreams we crave. For Mama's Day or Papa's cheer, let's make smiles from ear to ear. Get your jingle hot and fresh. info@blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford.
Well, don't forget to come to Blind United for your customized jingle for your loved one. Like I said, holidays, Mother's Day's coming up, birthdays, graduations. There's always something. Got a raise on the job, whatever. We can create a jingle for all of that. So, anyway, God first says these tariffs are eating us up slowly. So that's true. That's so true. Uh, So the last article is basically again Samsung, Android versus iPhone, iOS, and VoiceOver. So let's run this one, and we'll talk our way to the end after we get done.
Today on Coffee Time, Accessibility Showdown, iPhone versus Samsung for the blind and visually impaired community. As smartphones have become essential tools in daily life, accessibility features are no longer an afterthought. They're a necessity. Today on Coffee Time, we're exploring how two major smartphone brands, iPhone, iOS, and Samsung, Android, stack up in serving the needs of the blind and visually impaired VI community. Mobile phone accessibility on iPhone. VoiceOver. Apple's hallmark screen reader, VoiceOver, transforms the iPhone experience into a spoken interface. It allows users to explore the screen through touch gestures while receiving real-time audio feedback. It also seamlessly supports a wide variety of braille displays and includes an on-screen braille. Detection mode and point and speak. Leveraging LiDAR and AI, Apple's detection mode and point and speak features help users interact with their environment, identifying doors, signs, and household objects in real time. Display customizations and magnifier. With color filters, bold text, and a powerful magnifier tool, users can adapt the iPhone's visuals to their needs. Whether it's zooming in on fine print or adjusting motion effects, iPhones offer fine-tuned visual control. Mobile phone accessibility on Samsung smartphones. TalkBack. Samsung smartphones come equipped with TalkBack, Google's screen reader, customized with Samsung-specific gestures and features. It's a reliable tool for navigation, typing, and content reading. Lookout app and Relumino mode. Google Lookout provides real-time environmental information, similar to iOS's detection mode. Relumino mode, unique to Samsung, adjusts contrast and sharpness for low-vision users, making text and visuals easier to interpret. Customization features. Samsung devices shine when it comes to personalization. Users can apply high-contrast themes, change fonts, invert colors, and zoom in easily to enhance readability. Magnifying glass tilted left side-by-side breakdown. Feature. iPhone, iOS. Samsung, Android. Screen reader. VoiceOver with rich braille and gesture support. TalkBack with Samsung custom gestures. Object recognition. Detection mode, point and speak. Google Lookout. Visual enhancements. Color filters, bold text, reduced motion. Relumino mode, high contrast themes. Braille compatibility. Wide range, including Braille keyboard. Available but dependent on device and software. Magnification tools. Magnifier app and zoom settings. Zoom gestures and adjustable font sizes. Checkered flag final thoughts. Both Apple and Samsung have made significant strides in making smartphones accessible to blind and visually impaired users. iPhones are widely recognized for their tightly integrated and intuitive tools, while Samsung offers greater visual customization and innovation through tools like Relumino mode. Ultimately, the best device depends on personal preference, comfort with the ecosystem, and which features best support daily independence. If possible, try both platforms before deciding. The right fit could make all the difference in accessibility and confidence. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like that, when it comes to visual aspects, fine tuning, customizing, all this other kind of stuff, sound like Samsung has an advantage. One thing I noticed, I kept hearing him say, and I guess I might ask you this question, Pedro, is said Samsung specific gestures. Does that mean that there's different gestures between the Samsung and the regular Android platform?
Yeah, well, what these companies get the Android OS, they get to customize it a little bit, and Samsung does the customization. You know, just like the Pixel will have little more features with Android because of the Pixel being the Google phone and things like that.
Okay, well, I mean, again, we've talked about that before, in other conversations where, now I'm hearing that, Samsung has their own set of gestures that work I guess, in accordance with the standard Android gestures, right? So again, the gestures are different than iPhone gestures. So I mean, there's a learning curve there. So, but again, I mean, as I always say, and I actually try to live that way of within Blind United. I may prefer an iPhone, but if an Android works for you, man, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever works best for you. You know, I pour me a cup of water, I stick my finger in there to make sure it don't overflow. Maybe you want to drop one of them liquid sensors in there. Whatever works for you. So, but hey, I might have to pay that extra cost. I mean, I do. I'm used to the iPhone and voiceover. I'm used to how it operates, and I'm learning how to use as all of it, technology progresses. Of course, there's always new features, new this, new that. So you got to stay with that learning curve and try to keep up with it, whatever, regardless of what platform you're using, I believe. So, but yeah, that's what I got on it. So,
Yeah, yeah, but it has improved. Android has improved for the years and years. They're catching up to Apple. It's a slight learning curve when you go to talk back and things like that, but you have similar features that you could take advantage of, and that's always great. Um, Apple has pride themselves of making their devices accessible, and that's good right there for us in our community, able to take advantage. I feel like it's slightly one-sided. We have awards that do go out to these companies, like sometimes done by Apple Viz and other websites, and they have their um the awards of the best phone, and stuff like that. And it's always one-sided. It's always iPhone, 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 and I feel like we sometimes default to iPhone, and we praise it too much. Sometimes they don't continue giving us more features. I see some stuff coming into Android that I'll be like, oh, it's pretty dope, and then iPhone gets it later. But you know, we do got to give a shout out to Android. They've been stepping up their game with the accessibility and the way to maneuver their talkback also. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty dope that they're trying to step up, you know, and that we could give them a shout out for an effort.
right.
I've been stuck on iOS ecosystem that sometimes it's hard to step away and try to move to a different type of phone. So like what I was saying earlier, I don't know, to jump on the deal they gave me. It'd be like $200-300, but man, I don't know. It's kind of like doubling up my
Well,
bill, and I'd rather just save on my bill. You know what I mean?
I mean, I hear you. Well, you can always go get you an Android if you just need a newer phone, but
Nah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking nothing away from Samsung and Android. I mean, again, I remember, just like when I got my first iPhone, it didn't have a Siri in it. So I remember back then also, Android did not have TalkBack. TalkBack was an app that you had to install. Now it's part of their OS, just like VoiceOver is part of iOS, So, I mean, I give them credit, like you said, they stepping up their game. They're trying to do more and more, and it's only right because they do have some die-hard folks in our community that just no, they've been with Android all along, and they're going to stay with Android. So they deserve to have the best that Samsung, Android, the Google Pixel, whatever makes the phone. If they're using that Android system, they deserve the best that they can get. So I always want everybody to have the best they can have. So, but again, myself personally, I'm caught up in, like you said, that iOS hemisphere ecosystem, and that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm comfortable with. So, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I'm gonna end up staying with. You know, I mean, of course, I'm not gonna stress on like my brother right now with that deal in front of me. He know he want a new phone. Uh, he just don't want to spend that money. None of us want to spend that money. Trust and believe. I mean, when I bought my 15, I didn't want to spend that money. But as I remember now that I think about it, the main reason I did it because I didn't know about the LiDAR thing, you know, and that LiDAR, where you can measure the distance and all that stuff. That was a feature I just felt that I needed to have, and I said, okay, well, I'm buying a phone at that particular point. 15 was the newest phone, so 16 was getting ready to come out, but that didn't matter to me. I just wanted that feature, so I got that feature now. I'm good. So. Uh, uh, so
Yeah.
it could be that's just that simple as something that, makes you upgrade your phone,
Mhm. Mhm.
but again, I know a lot of folks are still doing Android. Now, I will admit this: most of the folks that I know that still have Androids, they still partially sighted as well. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but the ones I do know, they got that. They also have some vision.
Yeah, yeah. And I still see some folks also with iPhones 8, man, with the home button and all that. I was like, whoa, you know?
Well, I mean, think about how crazy it is. Some folks we know, and there's more than just one. There's a few of them out there. I ran into somebody else the other day that had a flip phone. Okay, come on, man. How far? Get with the times. I mean, that those phones are just so limited as to what they can do. It just I don't know. It just they stuck on
It's like
feeling the buttons.
it's like having a computer from the late 90s and a computer from right now.
Same thing. I mean, same thing. I mean, and some of them folks that are the same way on that level, like what they found or whatever, they are the same way with their computers. They just, no, they're not gonna get a new computer until the one they got just won't start up no more. You know what I'm saying? And then now you mad because all your data is in a computer that won't fire up. You know,
The computer was on life support for like for years. Computer's
right,
like, let
right,
me
right.
go already. I signed my
No,
waiver.
no. When your computer started doing stupid stuff, you need to really start backing that sucker up where you got access to it if it don't start up no more, because it's on its way out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean,
And
my
then if you,
stuff.
hmm
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was gonna say if you have Windows, OneDrive does a good job of backing up.
And exactly, and not only that, I mean, I got a external hooked up to mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm constantly going in there and backing my stuff up. The stuff that's not on OneDrive, I'm backing it up to my hard drive. My external. That way, if something happens, I can just unplug that sucker and plug it into the next one. I still got all my files. So anyway, it's just it's something else where they do a lot of this stuff. So, uh, but
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
but again, like I said, accessibility wise, I mean, iPhone is my thing. I'm gonna stick with it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the way I see it anyway. But anyway, we are a little early, but we done ran out of conversation, ran out of stuff to talk about. What we can talk about is, man, y'all ain't hitting that follow button like we asked you to do, man. I mean, we got so many people we know that are watching us. We see you watching us, right? But I ask you every day, man, please, please run over there, like, subscribe, follow. Hit the notification bell, comment, share.
Show us
You
some
know,
love.
show us some love, man. I mean, we sit here, we do this. I mean, we trying to keep everybody informed. Just let us know that you're paying attention to what we're doing, man. We would really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, the way all this technology and stuff is that, you know, that stuff is required. It's required for the algorithm. As long as you're doing, this stuff, then you add to the algorithm. Now it's allowing our stuff to go where more and more people can see.
Correct. And that pushes the algorithm, pushes us out. So like, subscribe, share. If you feel like you gathered information here that is useful to someone else that might be visually impaired or blind or even sighted, because we cover all types of different topics here, share the live, share on Facebook, go over on Facebook, like the page, share the page, because we're doing our thing. We're trying to keep people informed, and we talk about topics that affect you, Ed, and me.
I mean, everybody in the community, we try to give it to you from a blind perspective, just like I got old Tisha in the comments. She talking about she's sticking with Android and she wish she could go back to her flip phone.
She's regressing instead of progressing, regress.
They let him buttons. That's what it is, So
she wants a smaller screen. She wants to type by pressing the number 2 3 times just to get to the letter C.
Wow. But again, we just out here trying to do what we can for our community the best way we can. We're trying to share it from our perspective, We try to.
One more thing before I forget, Ed. They have new flip phones. So if you wanted a flip phone, you could go back to a flip phone.
I heard they had a new flip phone. It's a Samsung, right?
Well, they're becoming kind of popular. People are liking some of the flip phones. Not a lot, but it's a certain niche.
Right, but like when you open it up, instead of it being all the buttons, now it's 2 screens.
No, it got buttons too.
Oh, wow.
Some incorporate a touchscreen with the touchpad and all that. With the keypad. So it's an actual flip phone.
Wow.
And some of them might not have your major applications. And my bad for interrupting it. I just wanted to give that out there.
Well, for those that want a flip phone, they got a new model. You can go do a new throwback, whatever. I don't know what you want to call that one. But anyway, again, please like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And then, hey, enjoy the rest of your hump day. And we'll see you on the next one. Oh, I ain't even on the button. I'm sitting there talking about goodbye. And I ain't on the right button. My goodness. This is what happens when you do this stuff live.
Want me to cut it?
That's another thing. You guys get to catch us while we live, and you get all this extra stuff that you wouldn't get if it was being edited. So anyway, I'm gonna try this once again. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.